Welcome to Queer Conversations. I'm your host G of Very GTV, here every Tuesday 6 p.m. EST. And my guest today is Esprit the Poet.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I saw Esprit a while ago and I said, this is a crowd. I love that. I love that. Yes. So I want to welcome everybody who's watching the show. Please share the conversation. Please join our conversation. Ask questions. We have Esprit here for at least 30 minutes. She's down to ask pretty much whatever, answer whatever you would like to ask, right? So hey, Nikki, thanks for joining. Esprit. So let's get started.
Yes.
So you're a poet.
Yes.
Okay. And how did you get involved or inspired to be a poet?
Apparently, I was a poet before I knew I was a poet. When I was younger, I would write things. I didn't really intend for anybody to see any of that stuff. I didn't really get into spoken word poetry until I was an adult, probably like 2.5 years ago.
Okay, so
2
more
years
recent.
ago, yeah.
Okay.
I was very depressed. I was going through some things, and one of my friends took me to a spoken word show.
Okay, great.
She took me to ink therapy. Actually.
Okay.
And I was like, this is amazing.
Wow.
I felt so good when I left, and she was like, you could do this. And like,
Wow.
I'm telling you from experience that this will make you feel better about what you're sad about.
Wow.
So I just started writing stuff. And instead of internalizing when I would get upset or sad about something, I would write it down.
Okay.
And then I went to an open mic, and I did one of my poems. And I haven't done it since that night.
Oh, that same poem? No.
It was a poem called Scars that I did about my birth month, and never did it again.
Wow.
And I felt so good after that I just kept doing it.
Okay, great. I love it. I love it. And big up Ink Therapy. That's May Rain's poetry event that she does. I was just there last week at her event. And big up everybody who's joining us. Hey, Sarah, all the way from New Orleans. She'll be curating the Dark Woman exhibit this Friday. And Esprit will be one of the performers at Dark Woman, our open mic at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. How are you feeling about that?
Nervous.
Oh my gosh. Oh
but
my god.
excited at the same
Right. It's gonna be so different. So just to go back a little bit, you performed at Thou Art Woman here in the 1310 Gallery.
Yes.
And also when we were at Gigi's one time, I remember you performing. You're right.
At Gigi's and twice here. Once at an open, I was an open mic performer, and then I featured once here at the 1310.
I remember that you had entered the lesbian slam probably and won it.
My only poetry slam. It was my first and only. It was like I wanted to go out with a perfect record, so I haven't entered.
You're like, that's it. I'm the reigning champion. I'm the reigning champion. So that is great. So the nervous energy. 'Cause I remember you. I hope it's fine for me to share. I remember you contacted me a couple of years ago when you just were going to perform. You remember you contacted me, and you were nervous, and then you rocked it out, right?
Every time.
Every time.
Like I'm trembling.
So are you always nervous?
Every time.
Every time. But probably, does it help you think?
I think it does. It helps me be more focused. Lately, I have been learning to slow down.
Okay.
Sometimes when I'm nervous, I just spit the words out, and there are things that I say that shouldn't be taken at face value. They're very metaphorical, and people don't get a chance to hear that if I'm rushing through it because I'm scared or because I'm nervous.
Take your time.
I've decided to slow down,
Good.
and it helps with my nerves also.
Good.
So it's getting much better.
Yeah, and you're dynamic. I mean, I've seen you perform several times, and thank you because you helped Our Woman get the grant from Our Fund. Big up Our Fund for giving us some funding to help us do this beautiful weekend. And you've done a couple what we call pop-ups where you come in some people want to see what we do and help us out. So thank you for that. So so that's fine. The nerves drive you, and I'm sure because we went from a smaller space to a larger stage. A lot of people are going to feel that, but I think it's going to just be bubbling with this beautiful energy. And just to imagine, for me, part of the excitement is we're going to be this beautiful theater, and it's going to be mostly lesbians, queer women. Everybody's welcome, but it's going to be a lot of us in this fabulous place.
Yes.
You know what you're wearing? You don't have to say, but you know what you're wearing? Okay.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I normally don't know what I'm wearing until I wake up that morning.
Oh, okay, cool, cool, yeah. So no, I think about what I'm wearing. Sometimes in my dreams, concoct something, then I'll put it together. But yeah, so and then sometimes by the time I figure out what I want to wear and I put it on, it's my mood could have changed. But I have a frame of what I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I attempt to even put my clothes out because I came here directly from work.
Okay, wow.
I attempt to put my clothes out.
Bow tie and everything, right?
I attempt to put my clothes out the day before, but after I get home and I cook and I am like trying to work lesson plans at the last minute, trying to tweak things for my kids, and I go to sleep and take a shower and all that stuff. Nope.
No.
And I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what can I wear? Grab this,
yeah.
grab that. That's how I function in chaos. So
you seem very calm. So, we don't see the chaos. So talking about clothing and like queer women and so on, how do you identify in terms of like identity, whether it's gender or sexual orientation?
Lesbian,
yeah, woman.
Yes.
And do you now? So you're wearing a bow tie. And you're wearing a blazer. Do you have this as part of how you identify, or do you switch up and wear like a dress or a blouse, or you feel like you're more like?
I mostly wear masculine clothing, or I don't know, like a mix. Like my jeans are kind of tight, but my shirt. But I have worn dresses, and like my girlfriend likes me in feminine clothing, so whenever I do put on a dress or like some booty shorts, she's like, "Woo!"
Oh my
like
God.
I'm not hyper masculine. I'm still very feminine no matter what I have on.
Right.
But I'm still very dominant no matter what I have on. So those two qualities, I'm very feminine and very dominant. Those things don't change no matter what I wear.
Okay. Very feminine, very masculine.
Very feminine and very dominant.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And it's funny because sometimes I feel people that are saying like masculinity is connected to dominance, or it's nearly like the same, and it's like no, not at all. Some people say dom. Oh, if you're masculine, you're dominant. I'm like, no, not necessarily. You know, it's like it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah,
so
that's very submissive, masculine identified.
Yeah,
so.
and a lot of very dominant, feminine women,
Absolutely,
feminine people. So yeah, without a doubt. So yeah, thank you for joining us. Any questions? If you have any questions for Esprit, please jump in. I see Clelia joined us here. And Nikki says, you were amazing at the slam.
Thank you.
I remember that. It was very bold.
I think that's the most nervous I've ever been in my adult life.
And you had to do a couple of rounds.
Yes.
Right.
But as the rounds went on, the nerves eased, even though the pressure increased, which is
but you
strange.
feel more relaxed.
But it's just like, once I perform in front of a certain crowd, I feel like they're family. And like the more familiar I get with the crowd, the easier it is for me to like open up on stage about things that I haven't really spoken to people about.
Okay.
Because a lot of my poetry is very personal, and but I was very, very nervous. I was like, I shouldn't be here.
Oh man.
I just started doing poetry. A little background: that slam was like 6 months after I started doing spoken word.
Wow. So that's how gifted you are.
So I was like, all of these people have been doing this for years, and I was just like, all right, I'm going to get out in the first round, and then I don't have to worry about being nervous anymore. I could just enjoy the show, and that did not happen.
Wow, that was incredible.
Even after it was over and I won, it was so surreal that I was like, nah, this isn't happening for real. And then the next day I woke up and I was like, wow, I just won a poetry.
Yeah,
That's
6
crazy.
months. I didn't know it was that new for you. Here, yes. Okay, so Sarah is asking, can you talk about how you are inspired to write your poetry? What kinds of situations inspire you to create? Great question.
All kinds of things. It could be a story on the news that I saw that I'm very empathetic. And like as an empath, like I feel everything. And even if it's not me that's going through the situation. So I could see a story on the news. I'm a teacher and I teach teenagers, so a lot of the times the things that they're going through or what we talk about inspires me to write. Past experiences, if I feel upset, angry, happy, excited about anything, I write about it. If I see that there is a need for a topic that is not touched on a lot, I write about it. It just all depends. My inspiration comes from so many different places because I'm passionate about so many different things. And typically, it's a little unorthodox how I don't really write things down. Typically, when I create poetry, let's just say create because I don't really write, I'm in my car, in traffic, or...
So how do you remember it? Are you saying it into something?
Literally, I have to pull out my phone. I'm like, oh, I don't want to forget this because my memory is trash. Okay,
so record it.
Yes, I record it and then I listen to it and then I remember it and then.
So no writing at all.
I don't write Right.
Wow, that's so interesting. Yeah, I know there's some rappers. Oh, hey Linda, long time. She said she loves your hair. And
Thank you.
Claudia was also saying she loves your hair. You're getting a lot of compliments. That's great. This is the hair for Saturday as well?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, rock it. Yeah. But I think some rappers, maybe like Biggie Smalls, maybe Jay-Z, a couple people I remember that said like didn't write or don't write. So, but so you have your recording somewhere very special so you can get back to them, right? So no written. Interesting.
Maybe like one or two things I've written, and that's only if I have to memorize them quickly. Because if I write it, you write things, it's scientifically proven that if you write things down, you remember them.
Yeah.
So I'll write them, I'll recite them, I'll read them.
That's how you help memorize it.
Yes.
Then okay, I was wondering about that because that part, memorizing, I can't imagine.
But when I create things, there's a particular tone and cadence that I want to take in the poem, and when I write it, sometimes I can't remember how I wanted it to come across, even though the words are there. How I wanted it to be conveyed is not there.
Right.
So recording it really is better because I can actually mimic myself.
Right. The mood and the style. Joanne, yes. Hopefully you come into Dark Woman this weekend. And we can put the link for people to get tickets. Ticketmaster has a link for tickets for this Saturday. It's at the Broward Center for Performing Arts at 6. Well, doors open at 6, and we're really encouraging people to come at 6 because the show starts at 7. It's a traditional proper theater. We're starting at 7, not like 7:20, 7:15. We start at 7. So the doors open. We're gonna have some nice vibes in the lobby and so on. So come on out at 6. Get your tickets and tell your friends. And there's a link. Tell your friends to get tickets as well. And for people who want to do the whole weekend, we have the exhibit on Friday, the opening mic on Saturday, and Sunday a brunch. You can go to our website and you can get the weekend pass. You can get individual tickets there as well. Yes. So, do you have like a particular like coming out story that you want to share with us? Your experiences in terms of being.
All right. So, I don't think. Okay, there's two different stories.
Let's hear them.
The first one is I was raised by a pastor and his wife.
Okay.
Because I was adopted, so I was not raised with my biological mother and father, although I knew who they were and I knew where they were.
Okay.
You didn't come out in my house.
Okay, no.
There are times where my older sister would try to out me. If she was upset with me or I got something she wanted, and she would be like, oh, you know Spree's gay. And my mom would be like, not my Essie.
Oh, and how old were you at this time, at this point?
I was a teenager, maybe
so
like 16, 17.
Okay.
And then basically my girlfriends, my mom would just be like, oh, your little friend coming over here today? And my dad, it was just not happening. I had made it a conscious decision not to ever tell him.
Okay.
He was in poor health. He was older. And I was like, I'm not going to kill my father.
He couldn't handle it?
I don't think, maybe, but the world may never know.
Yeah.
They ended up passing away without me formally telling them, but my mom knew.
Yeah.
It was just something, I was raised in a household where we keep our affairs private, and if something is not in line with like the ideal family, we didn't talk about it. It didn't go away.
Right.
But we just didn't talk about it. We did not acknowledge it to be truth. On the other hand, my biological mother, who cheated on her husband with a woman, mind you,
Interesting.
decided that she found Jesus and tried to do an intervention. Now this is funny.
Wow.
I am the type of person that I keep a lot of information, and I might not like disclose it right away because I keep it in my pocket. So I had found out the same year that my uncle, her brother, was gay.
Wow. So
because I went in the room at my grandma's house trying to find something to watch, and I saw a VHS that said Family Matters, the show, and I was like, okay, cool. Popped it in and I was traumatized. Okay, there were gay men everywhere. Okay, it was a lot.
And how old were you?
I was in high school.
Okay, so this is pretty young to see that. Yeah,
it was a lot. Like big, buff, burly men and their penises everywhere. It was a lot, and it was just too much for me. I called my sister immediately and I said, you need to get over here now. And she was like, why? What's wrong? I was like, I can't talk about it. You got to get here now. And then she was like, whoa. And so we were trying to decide whether we tell our grandma or not. And we were like, no, like, we're not going to out him. It's too much for her, no. It's too much for us. We're not going to tell her.
This is who? This is your mother's brother?
My mother's brother.
Okay,
yes.
So your uncle. Okay.
And so everybody knew except for his mom. We kept it a secret. 2, I told you my bio mom, she cheated on her husband with a woman.
Yeah.
My grandma at the time was messing with a married man. This is a lot of drama that was going on in that family. And me, I'm still a virgin. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I'm getting straight A's. What you're not going to do is hold an intervention for me like I don't have my life together. Right. Because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, right? So I walk in and all these people are in the living room and I'm just like, what is going on? So she starts about how like God is not happy with me and how dare I do this and how I'm going to make all these people feel some kind of way. And I literally lost it. And my mouth is reckless. And I was like, first of all, and I literally went down the line. He's gay. You're sleeping with a married man. You cheated. My family didn't talk to me for like at least a couple of months. Everybody was so livid, but I bet you
they were ready for you.
They will not stage an intervention for me ever again because I was out everywhere except at home.
Okay, so you were living your life.
Yeah. So I wasn't hiding anything.
Right. You just weren't talking about it, but they knew it was happening.
Right.
You're living your life.
But what you're not gonna do is like ambush me as if I'm some heathen. When I'm not doing anything wrong, I didn't even have a girlfriend yet. Yeah, you know. Right. So that was that.
That's a interesting story. Good story. You handled it well. I love the way you handled that. And how are they now?
They did.
Because that's a couple years ago. How is it now?
It's fine. Okay. My mom makes comments every once in a while, like, well, you know, Jesus is. I'm like, yeah, okay. I just let it go because I'm older now. Things that used to bother me that seemed like I needed to address are different now. There are certain things that don't need a response, and I know that I won't upset myself over your ignorance. So I'm just gonna let you be ignorant in peace, and that's how we're gonna maintain harmony. Right. Because her and I, we're still working on our relationship, and it's taking work.
Well, that's great because your mom would give me up for adoption, right? And then now your relationship with her. So, of course, it's going to be a lot of work.
So it's a lot of work. So that's the least of our worries. So I don't let those things cause an argument. It doesn't matter. My dad I'm a daddy's girl. So, like my biological father, once he got out of prison, he tried really hard to make a relationship with me. So we're actually really close.
Oh, that's great. Little dad. That's
and, at first, he was like not happy because I'm his oldest girl. He had 3 girls. I'm his oldest of 3 girls, and he was just like, "I wanted to walk you down the aisle." I don't.
He could still walk you down the aisle.
For some reason, parents think that gay is like anti-marriage, anti-children. That's not. I want a family. Yeah, I want to get married. Yeah, just not to a man.
Right. So that's why we're in such a beautiful time that you can. A few years ago, you couldn't say that, but now you can. You're like, you can still walk me down the aisle. I can still have children. Right. Yeah.
So I think that was it. And once he realized that he could still have that, he was like, okay, well, whatever you want, as long as you're happy. So
I like that energy. I like that energy a lot. So, are you writing a book? Your life story?
I'm not writing my life story. I have not gotten that far.
Okay, but you're writing.
There are certain things that apply to my life story that I am writing about in a book that I'm working on actively right now.
Okay, what's that book?
What do you mean?
What is the book? So you're saying you're writing a book. It's not your memoirs, but
it's a poetry book.
Okay, it's a poetry book. Yes. Okay, there you go. Mm-hmm.
However, some of the poems reflect my life, but I'm not explicitly like.
I was wondering if you're writing memoirs with like these stories here about your biological parents and your no. So you're writing.
I have not reached that point to where I'm ready to be that transparent with like the world.
Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So no, not yet. And this is the first thing I'm trying to like get published. So baby steps. So I'm working on that, and I'm also working on a video, like it's a poetry video project that I'm doing.
Okay.
There's one big main piece that I'm gonna do called 25 to Life. It's about drunk driving because I lost one of my friends to drunk driving a couple of years
Sorry
ago.
to hear.
And other pieces that I feel would, like, I don't know how, I feel like the story would manifest really well in a video.
Okay.
Like, when I make the poems, I could see these things happening in my brain as I'm reciting them, and I'm like, people should see this so that they can feel what I feel when I.
So it's like when you have a music video, but instead of music,
Correct.
it's poetry. Right.
Correct.
So it's like a few minutes, like 5
Yes.
minutes. Okay. That's
Kind of like Beyonce made all that music, and
Okay.
then she had a whole nother album with
Right.
videos of. That's kind of like that.
Okay, good. And you're working on that now?
Yes.
When's that gonna come out?
As soon as I can find a reliable videographer.
Oh, we know some reliable videographers. We got a 1310 Bandits right here in this building, and yeah, we know people. And then what about for the book? The book you're
My
working
goal was the end of this year.
on? Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. Congratulations. Yes, David says here, love Esprit, amazing performer. I'm wondering if you want to perform something here, or do we wait for people to come
We'll
to
wait.
the show? We'll wait. Okay, you know what you're gonna do though. Yeah, that is great. Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple more days. Today's Tuesday, and there's just a few more days to the Art Woman, and we'll be in a Broad Center, and we're gonna have this is so different for us because we're actually gonna have a rehearsal, right? Usually it's been all on the fly. We've done it, and it's all good, right? It actually, there was a time they should come out and see her. Of course, come out and see her. Hey, Bobby T, come to the Art Woman this weekend. Everybody, if you're in Fort Lauderdale, please join us this weekend. But it's funny because when you first performed at the Art Woman, at that point, we didn't even have necessarily the order of it. It was just like, okay, up next. Yeah. So you saw the evolution where it was more and more, and now we're rehearsal and so on. So we'll see, how we continue to grow and so on with the evening. Yeah.
I got quite a few people coming.
That's great. I love that. Tell them to buy their tickets. Get your tickets now. Get your tickets. Yeah, we want to have a really nice, we're going to keep it intimate, but really nice crowd of people and feel the vibe. And we're still going to do, even though it's kind of like someone was teasing and saying it's open-ish, Mike, because we now know most people who are performing, but we're still going to, I'm going to go in the audience or invite some people from the audience. So I think some very brave souls to say they want to perform.
Really big platform to be your first time.
Right. So it could be somebody who's performed before.
Yeah.
But I was like I say, it could be someone's first time, but someone who feels that, some people come to the event knowing they want to perform and do or don't. Some feel moved during the evening. Over the years, we've had quite a few people who are someone wrote something that day. The one in Gigi's, Natalie had written something that day, that meaning that moment, and got up and did it. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the performers and also to see who are the people from the audience who are going to be I want to perform here, climb up the stairs onto the stage.
I wonder if I would have had the cojones to actually do that the first time.
I think so.
On a stage that large.
Yeah.
Oh, I might have passed out.
Yeah. No, I think I think that you would have done it. You'd feel nervous, but you'd do it. Yeah, and we're going to get that on Saturday. Any questions from the audience? Do you have anything? We're probably going to be wrapping up in a few minutes. Okay, I like this question here. Sincere. Esprit, when you perform, you're revealing your heart to a large audience. Do you feel vulnerable? How do you create... Hold on, it just jumped.
How do you create the courage to speak your truth?
I don't think I created it. I think it just kind of comes from deep within. And a lot of the things that I talk about, I do poetry for two reasons. One, for myself, because it's therapeutic. And I'm a firm believer that poetry saved my life. And I want to continue to do it so that I can grow spiritually. And also because there's so many connections that I've made in different shows that I've done. People have come up to me and said, hey, I was crying because I could relate to what you said. And I feel like it's my duty to get past my fear so that I can help somebody else who's going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Or who's going through something that I am writing about, that I am keeping, because I don't have access to all these people on a regular basis, right? I talk, like, I'm like a therapist at school with my kids, with my teenagers, and like, but they get that on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. I am a very social person in certain circumstances, but I'm very introverted. I like to be alone. And so extra. A lot of people don't get to have those conversations with me unless they have gotten to know me on a personal level and feel comfortable expressing what they're going through with me, and then I can talk them through it.
Right. So interesting. So you're sharing with, as Sarah's saying, you're sharing with a very large audience things that maybe some people that you are close to haven't even heard. Right?
Mm-hmm. Maybe. I don't know. I'm pretty open with people that I consider I'm close to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm very, very honest and open. But not on the scale of when I'm getting up and like telling people all of my business, kind of, my feelings, my thoughts. You do feel vulnerable. And that first time I especially felt very vulnerable, and half the nervousness came from me being in front of all these people, and half of the nervousness came from, I wonder if these people are going to judge me.
Right,
Like, what's going to happen after I say all of this stuff? And, you know, once it's over, I feel liberated. I feel empowered. Yes. So I don't let that temporary moment of fear stop me from reaching my end goal. And, like, reaching those people who wouldn't otherwise have that connection. Some people feel like they're alone. Like, especially nowadays, it's crazy because social media has divided us so much, and like people feel lonely even though they're on social media ironic, right? All the time talking to each other. I talk to my kids all the time. They'll sit in the same room and text each other instead of having a conversation. And so like social media has created feelings of isolation in a lot of people. And so by being on a platform where you can actually talk about things that people don't talk about and say, hey, you're not alone. Like, I don't know you. Right. I don't live anywhere near you. We don't hang out in the same circles, but we're both human, and we both experience human things, right?
Yeah. I see here, she is Lady B. I love the vulnerability in your words. You write how most of us feel. Yeah, I love that too. And there's something, when you're vulnerable, that it lets other people feel like it's a safe place for other people to do the same, right? And less likely to judge each other. That's why we feel like, no, I've seen Lady B. She's performed at Dark Woman a couple of times. Come on back this weekend. Yeah, we'd love to see you and fam. That one is kind of like, okay, well, if you share that about yourself, then I feel like I can share this about myself, and we're all here together with this, and no need to judge each other, and we all go through these challenging things in our lives too. Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that, but I'm so comfortable with myself these days that
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Please, I mean, so much of who I am today, a couple of years ago, there's no way I could have been. It's been this person. Even like walking out of the house with a tie on and a vest was something for me that was a challenge. And now this is normal for me. But there was a time I was like, I don't know if I can leave. What people might, what if, no. And now it's like, this is,
take it or leave it.
Yeah. David, you have a question over there?
No, I don't. But I since you did raise it, I mean, I think it's really important that you're sharing that too. Because a lot of people don't realize your journey. And as you interview people, it's good to know that you, not very long ago, were very vulnerable. And you could probably just lend a little bit more.
Yes. Okay. And then, yes, we're keeping fingers crossed so that we see you. Thank you. So, yeah, that's a great point. So, yeah, I mean, for me, even a lot of things, even seeing like where we are with Thou Art Woman, that I didn't see even that as a possibility. Like, oh, I'm gonna be producing a lesbian event. Like, I didn't even want to be open as a lesbian until, I mean, where are we now? 2019. I mean, it's really like probably like 5 years of full, like 100%, which is not a long time. You know, I had years before that where pockets of people knew. You know, and I always joke about I'd have like dinner parties, and I'd have like a girlfriend. And half the people at the dinner party knew, and the other half didn't know. And I had to be like, at some point, it was just work. And I was like, I can't do this. This is absolutely exhausting. How could you ever be free? Yeah, you're not. And I was just speaking at a panel the other day where I said, you know, I worked so hard to not be myself, and then to be myself was like the easiest thing ever. But it's a lot of work to try to be like, yeah. So I think sharing that, you know, I've blogged about it, I've talked about it, but like, I just think it creates this wonderful space for all of us to feel like that it's safe to be yourself, and it's the best thing to be yourself. And there's someone there who's like, it's challenging, like even like you're saying, your family did like an intervention. So even some people's families welcome them, some people's family don't welcome them, but in the end, it's like just be yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
I was talking about that the other day with someone, because I remember maybe like 5 years ago, I was going to work in like pencil skirts and heels, and I was so uncomfortable. I was getting hit on by my male coworkers, and I'm like, bro, like no, I will date your mom. I love like that. Older women.
I would date your mom.
But like I was just so uncomfortable, and in my mind, I had convinced myself that corporate America would not accept somebody who was a woman dressing masculine.
Right.
And then like a year in, I met a girl. After we did this whole dance, like, are you gay? Are you gay? Because we both wore skirts.
Right.
We like, I was like, this is too hard. Like, my feet hurt all the time. I don't know how to sit with my legs closed.
Right.
Ever
Right.
since
Like,
I was little,
like, same
I
thing.
would
Legs
get hit
open
for having my legs wide open. I'm naturally a curvy person, and like, I don't necessarily like all of that being out. So, yeah, I was uncomfortable for like a year. And then I sat down one day and I was like, there are a lot of masculine identified women with jobs.
How are they doing it?
It couldn't be a problem for all of those people, and they still have their jobs. What am I stressing for? I'm good at my job, and that's what I want to be judged on, how well I do my job, not what I'm wearing. And then next day, full transportation. I went and got like a bunch of bow ties, pocket squares, blazers, etc. It was a whole new makeover, and I felt so good.
Well, it's funny because I relate to that as well, because I was wearing skirt suits, stockings, which I hated. Not all the time, but like, you know, certain, like I like going to trial as a lawyer, like felt like if I'm going before a jury, I should put on stockings and a full skirt suit, and I just felt horrible, and would wear as much pantsuits as possible, and I mean, it was like maybe 2-3 times a year with these skirts, and people were like, oh my God, you look great. I'm like, shoot me now, please, no. And then I got to the point where I would not wear any more skirts. I'm like, I'm not wearing any more skirts. I'm not wearing this. And so it was just more like blazers and button-on shirts, which feminine women could do as well. It was, and then I got to the point where I remember feeling like I want to wear a tie to work. I was wearing ties socially and going out, and I was like, I just want to wear a tie. And I did it, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I was so grateful because people are like, oh my God, this is wonderful. But I always think back, like, that could have been a bad day. You know, for someone else, it could be like, yeah. Yeah, so Born a Star says, I hate stockings up to this day. Yeah, they're horrible. I don't know why they exist. I mean, I enjoy seeing like women in tights and stuff, so I can understand it. But why do you have to wear? Yeah, why do you have to wear that to be formal? And later, I would love to see him skirt, suit, and stockings. Yeah, I'll do that one day for comedy. Like, I'll put it back on and like try to strut my stuff.
There's something about stockings that seem like
you're pinned in.
Elderly. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it's something our grandparents made us
I think
wear.
it's done. Are women still wearing stockings?
They do.
Yeah. Wow. Because I see tights. I think tights could be funky and stuff like that. Or like if you're in a place where it's cold, it makes sense. But like, Sarah, you're right. You have on tights. So I did a stocking thing, and I remember feeling this like so pinned in and stuff. But I remember
so itchy.
I felt so relieved when I started wearing ties to work and felt like, you know, this just felt me and at ease, and then letting go of worrying about what people think. You don't want to think that you'll lose your job. There's some jobs that will be like, Someone just told me recently that job was like, nope, you can't dress like this. Not here. But I'm grateful that where I was at the time was just like welcoming, and now, like, you know, in my life, I don't worry about it at all. You know, and I'm happy that you got to be yourself fully and rock out the bow tie.
My supervisors love the way I dress.
And you work it's a high school, right? Right. And do you do poetry with the kids?
I do.
Oh, that's wonderful. And these are what, like 10th, 11th graders?
9th and 10th.
9th and 10th. That's great.
They
must love you. You're like the cool teacher that everybody like loves.
Well, we had a visitor today, and the head of school, it's a college prep boarding school, so the kids live there. So we don't have a principal, but we have a head of school.
Okay.
She introduced me to our visitor. We actually had a assembly with the Holocaust survivor today. We were going over to World War II, because I teach AP World History, so my AP students were a part of it.
I love history.
And
I love her.
I went to go
Oh,
meet
shit.
the young man. He wasn't young, he was very old.
Like 80,
Um,
probably
yes.
85,
He
88.
was 88, yeah.
Okay.
I
yeah.
went to go meet him, and she was like, yes, this is their professor. And he was like, you're not a professor, you're like 15. I was like, I've been 15 for a very long time.
Yeah, take the
But
compliment.
thank-
Yeah, you look like a baby. You
But
look
thank
young.
you.
Wow, he's like, you're the teacher?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, times have changed.
Yeah, look at this.
But yeah. But I'm very, very strict, and I have to be more so strict because I do look like, oh, that cool teacher.
Right. I can get away
over
with
on her.
everything, but
So
no.
like the first month of school, I have to make them hate me. And then eventually we build relationships, and they
interesting.
say, oh, she's being strict because she cares about
Of
me.
course.
But if you start off trying to be buddy,
Mm-mm.
teenagers are smart, and they'll take advantage of you.
Run right over
away.
you. So I love that style. I mean, I grew up going to school in Jamaica where it's all about discipline. And I think, I appreciate a lot of it because I use that discipline today for the stuff I do in my life. So I mean, sometimes I was afraid of the teachers. I didn't like that part, but there's still a teacher that when I see her in Jamaica, I'm still afraid of you when I see you. Miss Barrett at Campion. I'm still afraid of her. She's like, everybody says that, but she's cool. You know, but that is like, because you care about the kids and you want them to have boundaries and do well in their life.
Right.
So I love that you're doing that. So we're going to be wrapping up. Coming out this Saturday. I'm looking forward to seeing your performance. And after this, I've been doing queer conversations every week for probably a year and 2 months. And I'm going to start doing it monthly and do a 1 hour show. So I'll announce to people, I put it out there on Facebook and social media overall, and say that, to let people know when I'm doing it and so on. So I'm glad to have you on. And you have you get all these compliments. Another compliment. David says he loves the air and the other rings.
My gauges? I love these. First of all, when I got them, my dad was like, so you really doing this? You're like going to stretch your ears for real? And I was like, yep. And he was like, why? I was like, because I like them.
Yes. Your whole style is just wicked. I love it. Yeah. From the bow ties, your shoes, the hair, everything.
Thank you.
The crown. Yes.
Don't forget the little pocket.
Yes.
Oh,
Looks like a little.
Felton?
Yeah, I love that too.
Everything's like pocket, like
Yeah.
solid. And then the gray shirt instead of the white. It's like.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely rocking it out.
I dressed myself
I love it.
this morning, right before work.
So you wore this to work?
Yes.
Wow, that's great for your students. I love that. And just to see that, because there's some kids who probably wouldn't imagine they could dress like that, but they see you, they're like,
And
they have to wear
you have a lot
uniforms.
of girls in your class that are
oh,
They
the
have
crushes.
for
Ah.
sure.
If I had $1 for every girl who was like, Miss, can I sit on your lap? And I was like, absolutely not.
Oh my gosh,
Never.
oh my gosh. 'Cause I know I had crushes on teachers before I knew I was gay. So like, I'm sure, like, meaning like both men and women, but women professors as well. So I'm sure, like, of course.
Even one of my boy students today was like, Miss, if you were a teenager, I'd kiss you. And I was like, first of all, that's inappropriate. Never say that again ever in your life. And second of all, you wouldn't.
No.
Trust me.
That is funny. Yes. Oh, Anne-Marie, thanks for joining. Yes, Caroline, I'm going to go monthly. Doing it weekly has been wonderful, but it's also a lot. So I'm going to go to monthly. So isn't it something, instead of 52 episodes a year, it's going to be 12. It's 12 months.
You're not gonna have like a Christmas special or something?
Maybe I will. I'll pop in. I'll pop in with something else. Yeah, but in my mind, it's like monthly. So I'm probably like, instead of the show is supposed to be half an hour, I'll be doing like an hour. So yeah, but let everybody know. And I've been enjoying doing this. And yeah, I'm just excited about this weekend. I'm looking forward for it to be here. Been working so hard towards it. Get your tickets, everybody. Come and see Esprit. And we have tons of people. We got May Rain from the May Rain the Poet. We have Butterfly. We have a dance troupe, The House. We have The Poetic Truth coming in from Miami. We got a comedian coming in from LA who we're gonna see. Her name is Ebony. I'm like, what's Ebony? We have a bunch of people performing. Regine from Regine from Miami, and just tons of people. We have a nice segment of open mic performers, and then we're gonna have the feature performers. It's gonna be a beautiful night, and we have a beautiful art show. So I'm gonna stop. See y'all this weekend. Thanks again. Oh. My queer conversation closing questions. I nearly forgot. I saw David looking at me like there's something. I know. Okay. So queer conversation closing questions. What inspires you?
My kids.
Kids. That's great. What makes you laugh?
Everything.
That's funny. A few people have
Even
said
things that should make me laugh.
Make you laugh.
Don't go see a scary movie with me.
You're cracking up? Okay, that's good. I'm terrified in the scary movie, so that's good that you're actually laughing. Okay, what's sexy?
Women.
Yeah.
There are two things that I really find very sexy. 3, intelligence, a woman in a business suit,
Okay.
and adult braces.
Adult brace? I've never heard that before. I have never heard that before. That's funny. Oh, Nikki's like about to say. Nikki was like, "Where is the?" David's looking at me. Nikki's also like, "Where is your closing questions?" Yeah. So let me see. Intelligence, which is I'm gonna say is a top answer for people when I ask what's sexy. Mm-hmm. And then you said business suit. I haven't heard that, but I know you mean
like a nice power suit, like
power
Bet
suit.
from. I think everybody had a crush on Bet from the L Word.
Okay.
Like, all the little gays, and like from then I was just like. Yes, I want a woman that's like, yes, I'm the boss lady, because I'm a boss. I need you to be a boss
too. The boss lady.
Right.
And then the first ever I've heard from anybody is adult braces. But that's good. That's great for reach a dentist sponsor or something. This is who you want, right? To promote that.
I get my braces on March 7th.
Okay, cool.
Not as excited about my braces, but
you,
I like women in braces.
Wow. Okay, that's great. And I'll end with asking, what's so great about being a lesbian?
Everything. Women are great. Like, first of all, I think women are the only creatures that everybody likes.
Yes.
Like women,
yes.
men,
everybody,
animals, babies.
Everybody loves women.
likes women.
Everybody loves women.
Just the nurturing. They smell good. Like. What is not to love about being a lesbian? Like,
everything. I love that, everything. So yes, thanks again. See y'all this weekend. And yes, good night. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Esprit the Poet.